This video is sponsored by Craftsy. Craftsy is an online community of creative, like-minded makers where members can find endless inspiration, advance their skills, and discover their new favorite hobby. With over 2,000 classes and more than 20 creative categories, there's always something new to learn. Classes are broken down into easy-to-follow lessons with downloads and are led by friendly, award-winning instructors sharing their tips and tricks that will make any creative endeavor a success. Class topics include quilting, sewing, knitting, crochet, painting, drawing, cooking, baking, and cake decorating, among many others, and many more to come. I personally have been enjoying a class on sewing zippered bags as giftable projects. If you're a beginner crafter or a master of your craft, there's always more to learn as a member of Craftsy. Today is the day to become a new member of the Craftsy creative community. I have a link provided below to make it super easy. The first 1,000 of my subscribers will get a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49. So click that link. Stop dreaming, start learning, and stay inspired. Hello, welcome back to Lessons Learnt. I'm Sherry, and today we're going to continue with our second month of our block of the month sew along, quilt along called Garden Charm. This is a pattern and sew along that is found on the craftsy.com website. If you don't have Craftsy so that you can get the patterns for this sew along, we're in the early parts of it, so just go ahead out there to my link at the top of the description box of this video and you will see where you can become a member for $1.49, a premium member for 1 year. You can find this sew along and print out your patterns, download them, print them, and follow along with me as I guide us along on this. This is from 2016, so it's kind of a block of the month revival. Some of you have the actual kits. I know I have the actual kit with the original fabrics. And some of you started this in 2016 but never finished it. So you're coming along with me as well on this project. So last month we had the beginning. The very first block of the month was our center portion here of all of the hourglass blocks, and then a red border that went around it, and that's all we had to do for last month. This month we're going to be doing the dog tooth border, the green border, and these 4 stars, these 4 red stars here. Now if you watched the first video, which I'll link in the description box, if you want to start from the very beginning with me on this, you'll see a lot about how I organized my fabrics to be able to stay in order for this block of the month, because we only touch it once a month. So it's good to be organized, because in a month's time we can kind of forget, right? So I'm just going to pull out the fabrics that I need for today to show you what I did. I labeled the fabrics according to the number on this key right here. And I happen to have the actual fabrics. So in your case, if you're not using the original fabrics, which are no longer available, you're using something like it. But the numbers are going to remain the same so that you could follow the pattern. So it's kind of like a legend or a key to be able to, know which fabrics to pull for what month. So I have my 4 fabrics that I need for those particular pieces that we're going to work with today. And so this is the page that we need. And the page that you printed out probably says February, dogtooth border, border number 2, and star blocks. I just marked that out and put September so I could keep everything straight. And then that's what I'm going to use today, is this page right here. And then also there's a secondary page on this one. It has a page 1 and a page 2, so it will show you how to do your stars. So we will do that this month. So you'll need page 1 and 2 of your what used to be February and now is September instruction sheets. So we have our colors picked out. The yardage is already there. The cutting I can't share. You have to pull your own downloads of the pattern papers down because it's not my pattern. I can't share it publicly like this. You have to purchase it, sort of. You're not actually purchasing the pattern, but you have your membership, and that's where you get access to this. So I'm going to go ahead and get cutting according to what's under this little pink paper here. I'm going to cut out all of my fabrics, and then the next time you see me, I will be back here with those and on the first steps of how to construct the dogtooth border. Now all of your pieces are cut according to the cutting instructions on the pattern. Here's how I am going to arrange my pieces so that I don't get confused, because there's lots of repeats. We have stars to make, we have a dogtooth border to make, and we have another plain border to make. I'm going to make my pieces in the order that they get attached to the middle section that we made last month, and that being the dogtooth border is first, then your green border, plain border, and then your stars, which will be getting attached after next month's assignment. So you should have some squares for your stars. You should have a smaller stack of background for your stars. You should have a large stack of this red for your, I think they're calling it pink fern. You should have the largest stack goes with your stars, and then also the largest stack of these squares goes with your stars. Now down here for the dogtooth border, you want your bigger stack of these, and then your smaller stack of these, and then your very smallest stack of these. These three pieces will make your entire dogtooth border. That's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to attach it to my center section. Then I'm going to attach these three strips here together to make the border around the dogtooth border. Then finally I'll make my stars and have those in reserve for next month to be attached. So let's get to sewing. Before we get to the sewing, as you know, we have plenty of flying geese units to make, which call for diagonal seams. And you know, if you're like me and you don't like drawing all those lines on those little squares, seam tape is your friend. And I really like seam tape. I use it most all of the time. It's almost always on my machine. The purpose of this is to know where your needle is going to end up when your piece is way down here and you're sewing. And you want to keep that straight so you got a nice straight line from corner to corner. What I do is I bring my needle down and all the way down, and then I also put my presser foot down. And you can do this without your machine on if you feel safer. Just go ahead and roll your needle down in there, and then take a ruler and make sure that you can take another ruler and get this flat against the front edge of your table or your machine or wherever your machine is sitting. You need to get a very straight ruler here. So that's what I do. I just use this to make sure that it's flat against this ruler. This line needs to be in line with your needle. As I said, these black lines are your 1/4 inch seams on either side of your needle. So we need to get that red line right in line with the needle. So I've got a few pieces of washi tape out here ready to go, I'm going to stabilize my ruler with that so that I can use this straight edge to put this on with. So what I need to do is take a look at this. I've got a very strange angle for myself. I think I'm going to move you to the side for a second, just so I can see what I'm doing, because I don't really want to do this twice. And get this right in line. I'm looking at the red line and my needle. And I'm going to move my ruler over to that. And I'm going to take my other ruler and make sure it's pushed up flush to the table. Let's do that again. Check it many, many times. Now I can stabilize my needle, or my ruler rather. And you don't want to put the tape here, because that's where you're going to be putting your seam tape. So just stabilize your ruler over here on this other side, way down here on the right, and maybe up at the top or down here at the bottom. And then that's going to leave me a very straight line to put the edge of this tape against. And I am going to sit it on top of that bobbin case. And I'll show you what happens after that. You don't want the tape to go under your ruler. But you can pull out, you know, several inches, more than you need. And put it right next to that ruler. It helps if you attach it up here in the right spot, and then hold it up. Hold it with your right finger. Or if you're left-handed, it'll be the other way probably. And then just run that along that edge there. Okay, so there's my new one. I have a little X-Acto knife here. I'm going to cut right here between my Sew Steady and my cabinet and kind of smooth that down. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my ruler up. You can use painter's tape, masking tape, whatever you have. You don't need that anymore. And then so that you can get your... Now I've done this lazily before where I've just left it on there and I can actually do this. A little bit lazy. But I did do that the last time I put it on there. I never did cut it. But it's good to go ahead and cut it. And then we'll cut it right there. Another reason sometimes I don't cut it there is it starts getting raggy quicker. These little edges start coming up. You could also put it here. But something you're going to have to watch with all these little cuts is if your Sew Steady doesn't stay in place real good, you need to get it in its place. Either put some shims on the ends or something so that it doesn't move, and also that your machine doesn't move. So you need to make sure of that if you're going to use seam tape. So I hope this little clip taught you something about how to put seam tape in. I may not have done it super accurately. I'm going to double check here in a minute. But that's basically how you do it. I just want to show you that this is the check that I did to double check my 1/4 inch seam. So the 1/4 inch I followed not only on the side of my 1/4 inch foot, but also in line with this. So all the way down this long line, I got an accurate 1/4 inch. And here you can see that it is a, if I can see through the camera, you can see that it is a perfect 1/4 inch. Alright, let's get going on that dogtooth border. We need to make a whole bunch of flying geese. Don't be afraid of flying geese. Be afraid of walking on the ground geese, because they're meaner. Okay, so flying geese, you take one side, the right sides together of your rectangle and put a square over it. And you're going to go from corner to corner towards the inside of the bottom. outside of the top here down to the bottom. So you're going to have a V. So you're going to do one side of all of these first. Then you're going to clip these, press them over, go back and do the other side. Same thing, the other side of your V will go down this way. Or you could take a pencil or a white pen of some kind, chalk, and make your lines on these. I'm going to use my seam tape. So I've got 2 stacks here, and I'm just going to start sewing using my seam tape. And I'm going to sew on the red line, not the 1/4 inch line, on these. So here we go. Right sides together. Check yourself twice on that. Get it very accurately on there. And if you're having a hard time using the red line to guide you below your point here, put the line on first as a training wheel and then try to feed it through on that red line. And then also, if you want to veer on the safe side, you want to sew towards the outside triangle that you're going to end up cutting off, but only a thread's width, not very much at all. Otherwise, the whole thing will get out of square. So let's just do it this way, corner to corner. That look like this with one side of your flying geese finished. I'm going to break these apart. You can clip them with your clippers, or if you have something like this that you can cut with. And then the next step will be, once I get those all done, is to cut off the outside part of this, not the inside, because we're going to flip this over. Some people prefer to pull this over and make sure that you're going to be able to get a full rectangle with it. If not, you may have to unsew and resew. So you can take these to your mat and rotary cutter and cut a 1/4 inch. I'm just eyeballing mine. And I'm going to throw these in the Lucy bin. Now I have all my one side of my flying geese pressed open. I'm looking and seeing everything seems to be rectangular. You can always check your measurement on all of these and make sure they're the size they're supposed to be. And if you've got room to trim, trim. They should come out perfect though. So now all I have to do is put the other side on, doing the exact same thing. So I'm just going to chain piece from the outer corner to the inner corner, making sure to keep it nice and lined up. And I'm using my seam tape to guide me on those corners there to keep a straight line. Let's go. And you'll notice I'm not backstitching too much on these. This fabric is a little bit on the thin side. And if I start on that raw edge corner, it kind of wants to bunch up a little bit. So I've just got my stitch length down small. And chain stitching through here makes it faster anyway. Are your flying geese finished? They should look something like this. Well, they should look exactly like this. You should have 20 of them. And if you can look at the diagram here, you can see that you have 6 on either long side and 4 on the top and 4 on the bottom they're connected with a little white square, and you have those already cut. There's 4 of those. So the instructions tell us to attach the top and the bottom first. So these little four little squares that you put on each corner will be attached to your long sides. So let's go ahead and sew together our 4 for the top and the bottom. Attach those to our quilt center that we made last month. And then go back and sew on the sides, including the 2 squares on either end. Here's what you should have for your top and bottom. It should look like this. And yes, that is a 1/4 inch seam that you've created by sewing those together. You're okay. Some people panic when they see that. Oh, I've cut my points off. No, you haven't. So I think it goes like this, right? Look at your diagram and make sure you put this on right. So this goes on the bottom, and then you'll make another one for the top. I'm getting excited. I have my top and bottom on, and I'm putting my side on. Everything is fitting so nicely, very nicely. So accurate cutting, accurate 1/4 inch is the key. Here, you're going to want to always sew on this side so that you can see where your points stop. And you don't want to sew across that point. Otherwise, you'll cut your points off, and the fair judges won't like it. So there you go. I'm going to put my other end on. Also, don't forget your little corner squares on your side pieces. I'm going to put my other corner on and press this out and get ready for the next border. Dogtooth borders done. I think I have those on correctly. Tell me if I don't. I didn't sew anything on backwards, believe it or not. I would tell you if I did. But I got it right the first time, so yay me. So now we have a little green border to do. Let's go talk about that. Next up, our green border out of this fabric. Right now we have 3 with the fabric strips, so we need to cut those to the size that we need to fit here. Now the instructions say to do it exactly as we did this one on month 1, but of course they will be a different size. So it's saying here measure, wait a minute, let me see. It's saying refer to steps 4 and 5 of January's instructions, or in other words, August for us, the number 1 page that we had, to attach the ivy green border number 2 strips and press. The quilt top should measure 24.5 by 32.5 after that. So you can refer to the instructions there, but don't use the measurements that they have because, like I said, they're going to be bigger. So go ahead and attach your 3 long strips together and then cut what you need for the tops, bottoms, and sides. And there again, it's wanting you to attach the top and the bottom first, then remeasure and attach the right side and left side. So you want to measure your edges and also through the center, and you do that this way too. So here, here, and here for your top and bottom, here, here, and here for your left and right sides. So do your top and bottom first. And then, yeah, actually first you want to put all these together, all 3 strips together. And then cut from that strip the measurement that you get when you measure here, here, and across here. And then the same thing for the left and right. I think I said that way too many times. It's getting bigger. Now let's go on to those stars. Okay, we're going to make stars. At the beginning of this video, I told you we were going to be making, you know, the dog tooth border, the green border, and 4 stars. We're going to make 4 stars, but we're also going to make 4 more stars out here. How dumb is that? I don't know. Anyway, we're making 8 stars, and you've already cut out for your 8 stars. You just need to make your flying geese, because each star is going to have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll make those out of these 2 stacks. Out of this stack, you're going to have 4 per star. And out of this stack, you'll have 1 per star. So 8 of these. So most of the work is in the flying geese, and then also putting your 3 rows together, and I'll show you that in a little bit as I get these done. I probably will just make 1 star today for lack of time, but we will have the whole rest of the month to get the other 7 stars done, although you don't want to delay too much on that, because we have a big thing to do next month, which is all of this blue. So, yeah, stay on top of these. Don't let the number 8 get you. Like I said, these are very easy, and you can whip them out pretty quickly. If you did all 8 at the same time by chain piecing, that would be the most efficient way to do it, actually, if you want to continue ahead. For my part, I'm just going to make the 1 today so I can make sure and get this video out for you today. Alright, let's do it! Alright, this is our assignment for this month of September. Rinse and repeat on those stars until you have 8. Put your dog tooth border on and your green border, and you're all set. Ready to go for next month. Check back with me on Friday, finish it Friday, see if I got my stars done. We'll have a quilt show there as well of some of your finishes, and see where I'm at on my other projects. Alright, have fun. If you have any questions, send me an email. I'll be sure to help you out. Alright, have a great time on this project, and I'll see you soon. Bye!